Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour. And as always, we come to you at the appointed time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what do we have going on? Well, if you missed the update at the top, we've got earnings coming out after the bell: Microsoft, Google, Twitter, Visa, Texas Instruments, Spotify. But we did see an effort to price Mobileye after the close tonight. And I think I wasn't expecting this much, but it does explain a great deal. The pigs have to put their snouts in the pig trough to get fed. And, of course, that happens mostly at IPO season. So, well, there's this.
Let's put some lipstick on this pig.
So that's what they're doing. I think it's a little out far, but the idea is to get the market up into Wednesday. They'll probably price tonight and try to get everything taken care of, and then start trading Thursday morning for Mobileye. This is the company that Intel bought in 2017. My guess is then we could have a fairly decent pullback, but then we get into fun buying come back on next Monday. So I'm not particularly bearish. I would like to find some kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater moment, even in a smaller moment between now and then, to get long again. But it is what it is, and that is you don't find IPOs going out in horrible markets. They'll do whatever it takes to make the market look good to get that one out the door and get a big chunk of change for their bonus going into Christmas. And I think all of them have their snouts in the trough on this one. 877-927-6648. They're all involved in it. As far as I could tell, they all had different parts of it in there. And, of course, they all have parts of Intel. So they're all wanting a lot of that cash to come back and maybe help them get out. So you probably might see some kind of move in Intel. I think we're actually starting to see, or have seen, a little bit of it. Things haven't gotten any better for Intel. And if I can INTC, we'll put it up here real quick. You've come up off a little bit of the 24.59 low, but there still isn't a lot of juice. This is a dog of the tech industry, and I don't think it's going to get any better. They've got a lot of new products, but must have been Dr. J. Dr. John must have been the right place, but must have been the wrong time. And so they're kind of up there. Now, on earnings, if everybody comes out nice, and maybe they already know that already, but it looks to me like that probably a great deal is priced in, at least for tonight. Of course, the biggest one that's going to move the market is Microsoft. I started seeing this on Thursday and led to my options play on Friday. I didn't know about the IPO, but it makes a lot of sense for them to drive as much stuff as they can higher to get the market going. And again, in a bear market, it's very hard to sell shares of anything. If you catch the right time and you find a lot of people on the wrong side, it's kind of easy to run, at least in the short term, a short squeeze. I always remember that passage out of Jesse Livermore's reminiscence of a stock operator book, where he's stuck in some position that he can't get out of, and he wants everybody to cover. So I think he's short like wheat, and he knows he can't get out, and somebody else has cornered the market. So he convinces them all that the market's going higher and weather is getting better in the Midwest by buying a bunch of corn. And of course, he does it surreptitiously on the down low, and everybody gets wigged out and starts covering wheat because they think it's going to rain and and prices are going to go up or go down. Can't remember exactly the part of the story, but he does get out of a position that he was short that would have killed him. And that's on the short term, there is a lot of market manipulation, but when it's in everybody's self-interest, it's hard to explain why what they're doing is wrong to them. But we'll see. There's some other stocks out there that I thought were very interesting in the IPO parade of forgotten stocks. One of those, WEBR, had a big move today on people thinking that maybe the buyout, I think, was around 650. And it got up to 728. They ran a lot of shorts out on this one. But again, one of the reasons why I won't short really any stocks below $30 because it's too easy to get something like this going. But this is an IPO from about a year ago. So, your mileage may vary, or your engine may just blow up, depending on how things are going. When we look at volume today, it's good, and so, but I have a feeling, like I said, they're trying to get the pricing done tonight on Mobileye. So that would be Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley. Somebody posted in the den. Evercore, Barclays, all the usual suspects. B of A. So don't be too surprised. Don't be too surprised. They all had their snout in the thing. Anyway, let's do a little history, and then we'll come back and we'll look at some of the earnings that we have coming our way.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 2001, Microsoft releases the operating system known as Windows XP. I remember because I had to go up and buy it up at the CompuCenter over here on US 19 in Sunset. It's long gone, of course, the ability to walk in and actually buy any computer stuff. Micro Center still does well, a few of those places. But that really kind of did well. It finally got overwhelmed by Windows 7 and 8 and others. But it had an 11-year reign as the biggest operating system of all time. We'll be back after this.
Teddy Kegstad has just announced a live webinar coming up for subscribers to his newsletter, The Tiger Forex Report. Wednesday, October 26th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Teddy will be hosting a live 60-minute webinar, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report newsletter. In this 60-minute webinar, Teddy will be discussing a full breakdown of the markets that influence currency pairs, as well as applying those variables to individual currency pairs, how to evaluate trading scenarios for risk versus reward, as well as a live question and answer session. Sign up now and gain instant access to this live webinar coming up, as well as a month subscription to Teddy's Tiger Forex Report, which comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. Don't miss out on this live webinar event with Teddy Kegstad, Wednesday, October 26th. Sign up now for the Tiger Forex Report at the front page of TFNN.com.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors. Are you looking for a way to consistently add winning trades to your portfolio? Tom O'Brien is here to help. Tom O'Brien has been successfully trading markets for over 30 years. A frequent contributor to TD Ameritrade Network and CNBC, Tom O'Brien founded TFNN over 20 years ago to help educate investors just like you. Tom's daily market newsletter, Market Insights, is published every morning when the markets open to give you the competitive informational edge you need to succeed. These newsletters are packed full of Tom's advanced technical analysis and are geared to deliver comprehensive strategies for a successful portfolio. Get Tom O'Brien's newsletter, Market Insights, today and try all of our products and newsletters 30 days risk-free with our money-back guarantee at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And we're back. And see. Oh, what did I want to do here? I wanted to get to some charts. Let's go ahead and get to those right now. I'm just going to go through these as fast as I can. These are all earnings from either last night. Aaron's Rents, ANN, always one that starts doing well when financial issues come to task. This thing's done nothing but go down. Not a lot of people buying stuff. A lot of flush. You know, you don't need a new washer, dryer, or refrigerator so bad that you'd go to these guys to get it and pay 3 or 4 times as much to pay over the next 2 years on one. But they're looking forward. Had a very good discussion about how bad things are going to get, which of course is very good for Aaron's Rents. Got up to 1050, which is right back to the resistance level and this gap that goes back to the 29th of September. So you got up to that. You got a lot of volume. As we said before, one of the things you want to watch is you get too much volume and then you get basically a buying climax. And that's probably what you got here today. So this may be it. But if you're looking for a stock that does well in bad times, these pay-as-you-go, pay-as-you-rent kind of places do seem to do well. American Capital, don't know much about this one. It does look like it might test the previous low of 24 million shares with, 16 so far. But, not too interesting. I don't know much about that one. ARCC, Ares Capital, big move on that one. Decent volume in this. I dislike the fact that the volume was about the same at the lows, though. That may be one that goes back and retests it. Real estate has been kind of trying to make some kind of low. I think a lot of people think that the Fed is going to blink anytime soon. Saw some discussion about that in the den just before the show, that everybody's believing it's going to happen. I am not too far thinking about that. They may just slow the roll, but I don't think that they're suddenly going to get all dovish. But they may get a little pregnant, as I said, an effort to be a little pregnant and working on the market. What else do we have here? Follow commercial real estate, another one. Some of these were just very short. I think this was one of the ones that had far too many people short on this and on the wrong side. ASR, back up to the previous high. Not enough volume in that one for me to take a look at it. Another one, Bank of Marin, same thing. Little volume stock. Brown & Brown Insurance. You got to think that insurance companies are going to have at least a little bit of a haircut with the hurricane. Almost all these and the reinsurers have problems. But, you're going to have probably enough volume to go and test 53.32 on Brown & Brown. And I'd change my name. Brown. Canon. Well, I mean, if you're an individual, but I don't think you name your company Brown. Always wondered about UPS saying, what can Brown do for you? Canon, a little gap higher in that one, not much volume. Calix, a nice little pop. You got some decent volume in here. Looks like you're going to go back and retest the $80.95 high. That's from December 31st of 2021. But you have a nice consolidation that goes back to the end of July that you've just broken out of. You may get a little bit of protuberances as this goes back up, but I think you got a good chance at that 80.98 from December 31st. CATY, which is Cathay Bancorp, back up to the highs, some decent volume, nice gap higher. But again, you're about half the volume of just the previous high back here on October 18th, just a week or so ago. So, probably resistance for that one. CBU, which is Community Banks, back down at the lows. This one is the going to get the loser horn for the day. This is Crown, symbol CCK. Blowout to the downside, all the volume in the world. The only good thing is with all that volume, you might end up with a selling climax fairly soon, but just ugly. Cadence Design System, I wouldn't call it much. A little more volume to the downside on this one than you normally get. Cleveland Cliffs, and on this one you've got kind of a run with volume back down to the previous low. You already have 31 million shares going to test the September 23rd low. That had 20 million shares, and you got 30 already. Now, you did kind of come off the low and maybe do a little turnaround, but you still have a big gap there. Not looking good for that. Celestical, CLS, we'll call it that. Nice volume. Go back and tag the previous high. Nice huge gap higher. Lots of volume. So you're probably going to go back and retest 1169, 1168. You got within 1 penny of the big high from August 18th on this one. CNC, which is Centene. Now, this is a good looking candle here today. You got the right volume. It looks like you're going to maybe have 6.5, maybe 7 million shares by the end of the day. You're breaking through the previous high of October 4th. That had 3 million shares. That actually looks fairly good on a chart basis. I don't think it can outrun the market, but if the market continues to stumble higher, that may be interesting. Dorman Products makes a lot of old car parts, or used cars. but new parts for those used cars. Kind of more generic kind of products. You could think not looking good, which makes me wonder about the used car market. I saw some articles over the last few days, and I don't know if this is an effort to beat it down, but certainly some of these buy the car online places are getting hammered by the media. We talked about it maybe a month ago about some of these not ever delivering the titles to these cars. Dynex Capital did dip below. It's back into the trading range. You want to keep an eye on that. When we come back, what do I got here? We're going to go down the list to General Electric. I knew him when he was a colonel. We'll be back in a minute.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And as we come back, General Electric, and maybe down to a colonel or a major by now, did get back into this gap down. It started, it was a pretty big downside. I remember how many times this company's been left for dead. Down on the gap, what is that? September 13th was 7.2 million shares. Got into that with already 6.7 million shares. And pretty good into yesterday, kind of pulling back off after it opened up a little higher. I think a lot of people are just wishing to get their cash back on that one. But, yeah, going to be problematic to probably wring a lot more blood out of this turnip, but interesting. The company that makes Gorilla Glass, actually nice day now comparatively to where it opened up. Got down to 29.63, and of course this is a proxy for all the smartphone business, but mostly for Apple. So let's take a look at Apple very quickly. So again, you're back up really to resistance levels. You wanted something in the neighborhood of 150 million shares. Yesterday you had 76 million shares. Today you got under 50 so far. So it's not a rousing endorsement, but smoke them while you got them. General Motors, also private at one time, I'm sure. Filling the gap back on the 23rd of September. That gap down with about 18 million shares. Surprisingly enough, maybe this, for odd reasons, this may be one of the better ones in the old legacy car business. Volume's okay, which kind of weird. Got kind of the same pattern in Ford, though, so I'm not too surprised. You're just coming back up into some pretty miserable resistance. The big down day for Ford was on the 20th of September, and that came down with almost 200 million shares. You're up with about 50 so far. So let's say you end up with 70 million shares today. It's still a ton of resistance, just slightly higher. Let's see what else is out here in my list of stuff. JetBlue. Not much going on here to talk about. Coca-Cola. And mostly these guys have been raising prices. I've gotten to the point where I can't really drink, not sodas so much, but any of that stuff that has artificial sweeteners in it. We found out that it just turns my blood to goo. That's a technical term, by the way, goo. Anyway, the Coca-Cola folks ended up with a nice little doji out here. You got a second gap. You're probably going to get a third, so I wouldn't jump back on it. But my guess is things are going to get tighter in the cola wars not too far from now. So we talked about Logitech yesterday, and maybe there were a lot more people looking southward on this one, but certainly a nice gap with a lot of volume down at the lows. Back up to the previous high. That high came on 815,000 shares on September 12th. You didn't quite break it yet, but you got 3 million shares already today, so that actually looks good. I don't think they're going to do well for the next 6 months or a year, but maybe they're done going down, and now it's time to start watching them consolidate out some lows. See what else we have in my list of stuff. A lot of earnings. Another one, PACCAR, PCAR for your home gamers. 877-927-6648, by the way. And you can always email me at path@TFNN if you want to look at something or put it in the den. Says, I thought Samsung that had Gorilla Glass, Apple phones had screen break issues. They keep on, GLW keeps on making better and better Gorilla Glass and working out the issues on it. But I think they're like Gorilla Glass 17. It's kind of like one of those Freddy the 13th movies. They just keep making it a little bit better each time. But Gorilla Glass wasn't all that great. It was better than regular glass when they shipped it, were the reason they went with it. In fact, it had been sitting around at that company for 30 years. I think 35 years. that had been sitting around and became a moneymaker only when smartphones became ubiquitous. Anyway, on PACCAR, you have decent volume, but you're not holding it today. Again, that's the second one out there that makes me a little nervous about the car business. Now, here's one that you think should be doing very well. I don't see a lot in this wide-ranging candle today, other than they washed everybody out at 41.94 for the low today, and it's come back in, what's the 44.84? Doesn't look that bad. It's hard to believe that any kind of company that can do stuff to get food on the table is going to have a problem in the near future. People's Bank Corp, a little bit lower. Not a lot to talk about in that one. See what else we have here. North American Phillips, it's holding up. Whole of Europe is problematic, though. SAP, take a quick look at the Microsoft of Germany. Nice pop on this one. Up past the previous high of August 10th. Did so with 1.7 million shares already compared to the 900,000 shares on August 10th. So we'll see if that one can hold up here over the next couple of days. If it could, that is actually a fairly good signal for software, at least in Europe. What else do we have? Twitter, I haven't looked at this in a while. But kind of hanging out at its highs up here. But about half the volume of this big day on October 4th at 52 million shares. You're up in here at 23. So there's probably not much left in it. I haven't paid any attention to how the deal's going, but probably not a big deal. UPS did try to break out of the previous high with volume. It's back into the trading range, and high fuel prices still problematic. VLO is holding up here at highs. Now, this is a company that refines gasoline for the most part, last time I looked, and it tends to trade with the crack spread. That is the cost between the crude and gasoline going out the door. Still holding above. I keep a close eye on this one. This sector may be the next one to run as soon as the SPR is done. Oh, the deal will close Friday? That's good. Be back in a minute.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
And maybe we're finally getting to that paperless office everybody talked about. Probably not. But Xerox, I saw a note earlier in the listing that it was the worst day in 20 years for them. So let's go ahead and give them the loser horn. Blew through the low, but it's back into the trading range. So we'll look at that. But, you know, how this goes. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at Microsoft and some of the other ones that are going to have earnings out tonight and tomorrow. You're up at the previous high. It's a little light. Right now you're doing about 25 million shares compared to 35 million shares at the October 5th high. I don't think they've done poorly. Probably a lot of people that are short this thing, but my guess is that most of them are out as this went up over the last couple of days. So probably limited upside. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not thinking there's a lot of downside on this one, but maybe they'll want to throw the kitchen sink in on this quarter to try to get it past some of the other stuff. But very tough to say. Wouldn't play it either way. To take a quick look at Visa again. Just not that well, that's the wrong one. Got to fix that. Okay. Certainly. You're just up against resistance. Not a lot. I think we looked at the rest of them here. Let's go ahead and talk about what goes on in the morning. We got Boeing, which interestingly enough is back in trouble a little bit, but I don't think much is going to stick. They had a judgment that goes back to the 737 MAX on Friday, but after some consideration, probably doesn't amount to much in the way things work. You're back up. Again, the biggest thing on this would be a new Congress that would decide to change the retirement date up a couple of years for senior captains. But they are, at least in the United States and really the rest of the world, to just a little bit lesser extent, limited by pilots that have the experience to sit in the right seat, which is 1,500 hours. That's just being the guy that sits there. The captain, of course, he's probably got 5,000, maybe 10,000 hours by this time. And if he's getting ready to retire, maybe 20,000 hours in planes. So, yeah, you can't replace experience. But not a lot of juice in this one either. The question is, do they want to get past some of the other problems that they have? But I think they'll be okay. I'm not looking for the end of the world in them, but interesting. One of the other ones out here that tells you just how much is going on in the public sector for new roads and everything is United Rentals. These guys, of course, rent all the little stuff you need. I guess if you don't need it, they don't have it. So probably a good proxy for what government's spending. You got two highs out here just under $300, both in the 600,000 share range. As you go into earnings, about 445. I know we threw a lot of money in the last couple of years out there. Maybe this does better because they'll have green checks coming from a lot of folks. So I'll keep a look at that one as maybe a safety stock, at least while the money from the government continues to come. Waste management. Didn't know the Sopranos were in the stock market, did you? I don't know if they, I'm just saying that. But anyway, back up here, you certainly have a huge down day on 3 million shares. That goes back to October 6th. Yesterday, 2 million shares. Today, 1.2. So, again, you're really getting to the point in a lot of these stocks where you got resistance not that far higher. In this case, you probably have fairly good resistance up at 169, which would be decent earnings. Again, you got to have your trash hauled off. So this may be yet another one of these companies when you see it tomorrow. Maybe a safety stock for next year where we'll probably have bigger problems. In the unfriendly skies, we have Spirit Airlines back up to the previous high on lighter volume. Of course, this one has earnings after the close tomorrow, not before the close. In the computer side of stuff, we've got Seagate Technology. They're before the open tomorrow, right back to its resistance levels on the 5th of October. That had about 2.7 million shares. You got about 2.3 right now, so you're probably going to come in line about the same. But that will be an interesting read on computer sales, mostly because they do retail hard drives, but most of their money is made on the cloud services part of this business. And it'd be very interesting to see how they're doing selling these big drives as more and more drives go to solid state SSD drives, and what happens to these. But there may just be too many people short this one because it's so easy to see the end of the road on these spinning hard drive companies that eventually will be the buggy whips of what goes on. I got a little earthquake in San Francisco. Okay, and after the market tomorrow night, one of the other ones, and maybe this is going to start a theme that these companies, but this one's taken off already with O'Reilly. It broke out, had some decent volume yesterday. You got about 580,000 shares compared to 480,000 shares back on August 16th, the last big high. But maybe that's going to tell us a lot more about used car business going forward. Of course, O'Reilly Automotive Auto Parts. I was just there getting a gas cap, but didn't look that business to me, or busy. But who knows? I think they do a lot of business in the mornings, especially with repair shops. Although you can walk in. Not always a good indication, is it? So that's kind of it for Wednesday. Thursday, of course, we're going to have Apple, Amazon, Intel, MasterCard, Caterpillar, Altria, Gilead Sciences, Merck, Western Digital, and McDonald's. We'll be back in a minute.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And a lot doesn't always make sense in a market. And then you see the news later, and it makes a little bit more sense. But certainly, to me, it looks like there's a stampede to get Mobileye out the door. This isn't one of the bigger deals. I think they're only going to raise $820 million. But this is what they call a sliver deal, where they get a little bit out there, and then they continually add more shares to it. So we'll see, but even that has been problematic. But my guess is they're trying to get at least some of this out the door, and then they'll probably dump a lot more shares. I haven't dug too deeply in it, but for something only raising 820 million shares, every one of the big guys on Wall Street is involved in getting this out the door, which makes me think they've got a much bigger agenda to distribute stock. But we shall see. Anyway, they're trying to price it tonight, maybe tomorrow night, and start trading on Thursday. So we'll see how that works out. But generally, there's kind of a gentleman's agreement that you won't dump on the market why this is going on and make enemies. So, generally what you have is as soon as it starts trading, maybe 30 minutes in an hour, a lot of times the market's like pulling back. So you may want to keep an eye on that. Might sell off into Friday too. And then we get into fund buying next week. So we'll see how earnings go this week. I think we've got a lot priced in to the upside. So if there is something, it's probably small on the upside over the next couple of days. I think the big move will be a lot of people getting reshorted and then fund buying again next week. Well, we'll ask, is anybody ever actually learn? Sell when you can, not when you have to. Cover when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you here tomorrow.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most.